For 2 decades, survivors begged the Southern Baptist Convention, the largest Protestant denomination in America, to track sexual predators moving between its churches. They were told it was impossible. Baptist churches are autonomous. No central list could exist. A list existed. The Southern Baptist Convention is built, by design, as a fellowship of autonomous congregations. No bishops, no hierarchy. Each church governs itself. For years, that architecture was the official answer to every survivor who asked the obvious question: why is there no system to stop an abusive pastor from simply moving to the next town? Autonomy, the executive committee said. A denominational database of offenders was impossible, unbaptistic, a legal minefield. Survivors and reform advocates, most prominently after a landmark 2019 Houston Chronicle investigation documented hundreds of cases, were waved off with this doctrine of helplessness for 20 years. In 2021, the convention's own messengers, ordinary church delegates, forced an independent investigation over the executive committee's resistance. Guidepost Solutions delivered its report in May of 2022, and the central finding detonated the official story. While telling survivors that no list could exist, executive committee staff had been keeping one. An internal roster of accused and convicted Southern Baptist abusers, maintained and updated for over a decade, had grown to 703 names, 409 of them with confirmed Southern Baptist affiliation. The list was not used to warn churches. It was not used to check credentials. It was, in the report's account, closely guarded by a handful of insiders whose governing concern was avoiding legal liability for the convention, to the exclusion of nearly everything else, including the children in the pews of the next church an abuser joined. The report's language for how survivors were treated is the receipt. Those who came to the executive committee were met, in Guideposts' words, with resistance, stonewalling, and even outright hostility. Some were disbelieved, some were vilified, some were treated primarily as legal threats to be managed. The report reproduced internal emails in which a senior executive committee officer described the survivor advocacy movement itself as, in his words, a satanic scheme to completely distract us from evangelism. The people reporting rape inside the church were cast as the devil's work. The men keeping the secret list were, on this framing, the ones defending the gospel. We hold the numbers with care. The 703-name list is a floor, not a census. It counted only cases that had come to the executive committee's attention, largely through news reports. The Houston Chronicle series independently documented roughly 380 credibly accused church leaders and some 700 victims over 20 years. No one knows the full count, precisely because the institution that could have counted refused to. And the aftermath is still in motion. After the report, the SBC published a redacted version of the list and created an abuse reform task force. And in August of 2022, it announced that the United States Department of Justice had opened an investigation into the convention and its entities. Now, the thing we will not do. The easy version says the whole denomination knew. It did not. The Southern Baptist Convention is 15 million people and tens of thousands of churches, overwhelmingly filled with people who were lied to along with the survivors. It was SBC messengers, ordinary delegates, who forced this investigation over their own leadership's resistance. One of the few instances in this series where an institution's members overruled its officers to drag the records into daylight. But that is precisely what convicts the leadership. Autonomy was the reason a database was impossible when survivors asked for one, and no obstacle at all when the lawyers wanted one. The doctrine bent exactly once, in the direction of the institution, and never in the direction of the children. So here is the receipt. The largest Protestant denomination in America told abuse survivors for 2 decades that tracking predators was structurally impossible, while its executive committee secretly maintained a 703-name list of abusers and treated survivors per its own commissioned investigation with stonewalling and hostility in service of liability management. The spin says the failures were local and the polity made central action impossible. The rebuttal: the list proves central action was possible because it was quietly taken. For the lawyers, an institution that can compile a roster of its predators but not a warning has not misunderstood its polity. It has understood its priorities. The reckoning is live and unfinished. A federal investigation, a published list, a task force with a budget problem, and survivors 20 years older than when they first knocked, still auditing the follow-through. Somewhere in the executive committee's files, for more than a decade, there was a document that could have emptied pulpits and protected children, and it was filed under liability instead. Every entry on it had a date. Every date was a Sunday someone preached.